Hello, everyone. Thanks for coming to this session. So I flew in from Vancouver last night, so I suffer from sleep scarcity. So I may not be coherent. I'll try to stay on task. So this session is about scarcity and decision-making. In the past 10 years, we really have seen a shift from scarcity being a lack of physical resources, such as money and time, to a lack of mental resources, such as your working memory and attention. So this conceptual shift in scarcity framework is demonstrated here. So we argue that the condition of scarcity, which is a lack of resources, directly impairs cognitive function, and impaired cognitive function leads to bad decisions and choices that further perpetuate scarcity. So this is a vicious cycle that we hope to demonstrate. So one of our early evidence for this framework is this study that we did in a shopping mall in New Jersey, where we presented rich and poor participants financial problems. So these financial problems can be either hard, which means they involve a large cost. It could be $1,000 or $2,000. Or these problems can be easy. So these problems involve $100 to $500. And when people are thinking about these problems, we give them some cognitive quizzes. So the Raven's matrices on the left is a test for fluent intelligence. So it measures your IQ. And on the right-hand side is cognitive control. It's a measure for executive function of your mind. So what we found was, first of all, the rich were not influenced by whether the problem was hard or easy, or whether the cost was large or small. But importantly, for the poor, when they're thinking about a large cost in mind, their cognitive function is lower. That means they show lower IQ on Raven's matrices and lower executive function on the cognitive control test. And this impairment is equivalent to a 10 to 13 points drop in IQ. And 10 to 13 points drop in IQ is equivalent to loss of one night's sleep or aging 15 years from 45 to 60 years old. So this is a large consequence on the mind by virtue of being poor. We also conducted the same study within the same person. So this is a study done in India with sugarcane farmers. So what we did is we gave the same Raven's matrices and cognitive control task, the SROOP task, to these farmers before harvest and after harvest. So before harvest, these farmers are really, really poor. They're struggling to make ends meet. But after harvest, they're rich. They just get their entire year's income at the harvest. So what we found was on Raven's matrices and the SROOP task, people performed worse before harvest when they're poor, but they perform significantly better after harvest when they're richer. So this variation is even seen within the same person over just a period of few months. So generalizing from money scarcity to time scarcity. So a lot of us are time poor, if you're not money poor. And for the low-income individuals, they're both money poor and time poor. So this is a study that I did in UBC where we demonstrated a consistent decline in IQ as students approach the final exams. So this is November each week to December when final exams started. We replicated these results in multiple years, in multiple semesters, and the decline over 1 month before the final exam was about 10 IQ points. So that's also ironic that the students are actually suffering cognitively before the final exams. Okay, so we've demonstrated these causal impairments of scarcity on cognitive function or your mental function. So how does scarcity actually tax your mind? So we offered a hypothesis, which is we pay attention very differently to the environment when you're poor. So this is an experiment we did online with a large sample with the US public. So we presented a menu. So this is a menu. On the left-hand side, you have food dishes, which food you want to eat. In the middle column here is the price. So how much does each dish cost? And on the right-hand side is the calories. And importantly, on the bottom of the menu, I don't know if you can see this, is a discount. It says you are eligible for 18% discount. So what we did was first we randomly assigned people to a rich condition where each individual had $100 to order from. you have to order a meal. So the rich participants have $100 to order. The poor participants, randomly assigned, have only $20 to order from. And as they're making that decision of what they can order from this menu, we eye track them. So we track their attention as they view this menu. This is a heat map of eye gaze from our participants. So as you see, there are distinct differences between how the rich pay attention and how the poor pay attention. The first difference is that the rich looked at the dishes more. So they can actually think, which dish do I want? Which one do I like? But the poor look at the prices more. They actually focus their attention primarily on the middle column, thinking about which dish can I afford. The rich also look at calories more. They can also consider, okay, how many calories should I intake? And most ironically, the rich look at the discount more, and more of the rich participants ask for the discount than the poor. Now, so this is very ironic because the poor will really benefit from this discount, but in contrast, they didn't even notice the discount or use it. So this neglect of this helpful tip is the vicious cycle. It perpetuates scarcity. We've generalized the same finding with time scarcity. So people have to solve some puzzles in the middle of the screen, again, being eye-tracked. And occasionally we show some tip on the bottom of the screen that says, you can skip this trial to save some time. This trial is useless. It doesn't give you any points. Please skip this trial to save time. And what we found was, again, for the rich participants who have more time to spend on this task, they noticed the queue and they skipped more trials and they saved more time. Whereas the poor participants who only have 10 minutes to complete the task with, they actually didn't even see the queue, and they actually ended up wasting more time. So the conclusion is that scarcity biases attention to either the price or the time information, whichever information that's relevant to you at this moment, and at the same time induces the neglect of a savings opportunity. So that's the vicious cycle that we try to illustrate is impaired cognitive function. This attentional trade-off under scarcity can perpetuate the condition of scarcity itself. So what's the implication for this model? Well, first, it raises 2 points of intervention. One point is alleviate scarcity. So we can remove scarcity, or at least try to use cash transfer programs or universal basic income programs to alleviate the condition of scarcity. So in fact, the student of mine, Ryan, is presenting a poster right there where we're giving $8,000 in one shot for free to homeless individuals in Vancouver, and we have some really promising results over there. So that's on one hand, alleviating scarcity could be one intervention. On the other hand, we should alleviate the cognitive burdens of the poor. So how do we do that? We can design programs and services in a much easier way for the poor to enroll or to participate, including setting the right defaults, setting up automated programs, simplifying procedures. So these are the several nudging interventions that we can do that could be particularly beneficial for the poor. Okay, so this is my brief intro into scarcity and decision making. And today we have an excellent panel of 3 speakers. So let's start with Sam Hirschman. So Sam is a PhD student, 4th year PhD student in behavioral science at the University of Chicago Booth School of Business. He's working with Abby Sussman, and he'll be talking about how people manage debt payment over multiple credit cards and what neglect, such as interest rate, can occur as a result. So over to you, Sam.